I'm Morgan. I'm a vegan life and wellness coach, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the best way to eat vegan and do that for like health or like weight loss to kind of optimize those results. So, typically what's recommended by plant-based doctors is a whole foods plant-based diet. So whole foods are things like whole grains, starches, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. And typically they recommend that you also eat a vegan diet that's lower in fat. So not so many seeds, not so many nuts and avocados, coconut, things like that. And it just happens to be, the best way to eat for weight loss as well. With all that being said, there's no universal right way to eat. If you're new to veganism or you're considering it, you can definitely do it in whatever way you like, right? Like just because somebody else eats a certain way doesn't mean that you have to. Like Brussels sprouts, don't eat them. So often we get like caught up, right? We see what everybody else is doing and we think, well, like I don't want to eat Buddha bowls or like big salads for lunch. And if you don't want to do that, don't. So in terms of like with my clients, when I work with them to try and get them started with plant-based eating, I don't like meal plans. I don't think they're very helpful, especially like completely changing the way that you're eating. Depending on where you're coming from can be good, but it can also be really overwhelming. So typically what I recommend you do is look at your plate, right? Like the whole plate and how that's balanced and what that looks like. So Canada actually has a great resource. We recently redid the food guide and it shows like a snapshot. It's just a picture of what your plate could look like. And while it's not specifically vegan, it's very vegan friendly. So according to that snapshot, it's half of your plate would be fruit or veg, and then a quarter is protein, and then a quarter is whole grains. And that's pretty on par with what most plant-based doctors recommend in terms of setting up your plate. So that's a great way to start. And if you're setting it up that way, you shouldn't have to track calories and you shouldn't have to worry about getting nutrients, as long as you're eating enough food. So that's the biggest thing. If you're coming to veganism for weight loss or health reasons, take a look at your plate and make sure that it's colorful and make sure it fits into that. I'll leave in the description below a link if you want to go over and check out Canada's guide to get an idea of what it looks like, right? Get a visual so you know when you're sitting down to eat, yes, this matches, it's perfect. Something I also really want to make sure is that you're not afraid of carbs. So often people come from different diets like keto and carbs are so demonized. So they come to a plant-based diet and they're trying not to have whole grains or like sweet potatoes and, even white potatoes, right? Like those are okay. It just depends on what you're doing with it. So if you're eating them in their whole form, right? It's not like you pull it out of a freezer bag of like French fries. That's, those aren't as great. Like you can still eat them, they're an okay option. But when it comes to like weight loss and optimizing your health, the less processed, the better. So if you're coming to the lifestyle and you're scared of these things, don't be. The issue with these foods isn't the food itself, it's what we put on them, right? Like we slather them in butter and oil or, sour cream. And that's what takes the calories out of control and it adds in a lot of fat. And it just, it adds up. So don't be afraid of carbs. They're an essential part of a healthy vegan diet. And even if you're focused on weight loss, they're okay. They are not going to cause you to gain weight. You may have some initial water retention if you're coming from a no carb or a low carb diet because, you just hold a little more water, but that should be temporary and it's not weight gain. Another great way to kind of fast track weight loss, if that's something you're focused on, is to completely cut out oil and some of those fattier foods like avocado, coconut, like the seeds and nuts. Just take them out for a while because they're so calorie dense and it's really easy to overeat, right? Like a bag of nuts is way more than you should have in like a month. And if you are buying them and you're snacking on them, and maybe you're finishing those in a day. So while they're a healthy option, they're really calorie dense and they're not going to get you the results that you want and you're not going to feel how you want. But with all this being said, this is just like the foundation. You don't need to be super strict. You don't need to eat that way every single day, right? You can still go out, you can still have fun, you get your french fries, you have your oily, greasy food, get a veggie burger, do all those things and still have fun. As long as you're eating whole foods, you're gonna feel better and you're gonna look better. Don't focus too much on calorie tracking or any of that, other than, if you're worried that you're not eating enough, which is so common on a plant-based diet. Maybe track a day or two, make sure that your calories are high enough, because even if you're trying to lose weight, you don't want to be under eating, because you're gonna set yourself up for failure. If veganism is a completely new idea to you and you don't know where to start, I do have a Facebook group for women. So, this group is for women who are interested in learning more about veganism, they want to go vegan, or maybe they're already vegan. You're welcome to come join us. I'll leave a description below as well. I go live every week there and we talk about different topics and kind of tackle what the group's questions are. So if you need help with something and there's, something maybe you don't get or you just don't know where to begin, come on over to the group and we can work on it together. You don't have to wait for a video, just come in, throw a comment, and I'm happy to help you. If you have any questions about this in general, you can leave a comment down below here too. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. Bye.